We're going to look at the chest muscle now, pectoralis. So your pec muscles, your chest muscles. So let me get this a little bit closer for you. So as you can see, the origin of the muscle starts here on the sternum and then comes across to the attachment on the humerus here. So that's your chest muscle, pectoralis, your pec muscles, okay? So when this muscle becomes short and tight, it causes massive postural issues in the upper body. So because if you can imagine, when muscles become short and tight, remember, origin moves closer to insertion. So sternum, humerus. When this muscle becomes short and tight, it actually draws the bones close together. So it actually drags your humerus, your arm, towards the sternum here. So we get this sort of very rounded C shape. That in turn will cause the rib cage to collapse. And your diaphragm muscle, remember we spoke about the diaphragm earlier on at the beginning of this the work, and that needs that space. But if we actually sort of collapse the rib cage, and the diaphragm can't move fully, so your energy levels are going to be compromised, and headaches and poor circulation, etc. And you're not going to get that full cleansing breath. So pectoralis, stretching and keeping this muscle open is very important. The pain it's going to cause regarding to back pain will be upper back pain, sort of a lot of tension here, neck and shoulder tension because the trapezius is being pulled forward and almost is locked along. So basically the trap, its job in the body is to retract and protract and pull the shoulder girdle back and down and adduct them forward, back and into the center. So it draws the shoulder girdle back down and pulls in. But if pectoralis is too tight, it's actually pulling this forward, and it's almost like those muscles are on the edge of a cliff holding on for dear life. So it'd be like if I held my bicep in this position for hours on end. When I tried to straighten the arm, you can imagine how my elbow joint would feel incredibly stiff, but also this muscle would be in a tightened, shortened position the whole time. But this muscle is actually in a lengthened position, but in that sort of almost in a spasm, because it's having to hold the shoulder girdle, as opposed to being able, when you let pectoralis be flexible and stretch it open, then the shoulder girdle, trapezius can do its job, and this all relaxes. So it takes a lot of tension away from the neck and shoulder area. Also, when you're in this position, when pectoralis is tight, it can be responsible for cervical issues. So firstly, a lot of pain in the neck, over time, bulging disc, herniation, because the head will have to jut forward. When you're rounded and the head's in its normal position, it can't turn, so it juts forward and then it's able to turn, and that's going to cause that herniation and bulging disc in the cervical vertebrae, because you're actually, again, like I explained with psoas in the lumbar region of your spine, the gel within the disc will be compressed into one area instead of normal mobility. So you're going to get that bulging, as I showed before, in the lumbar region. Exactly the same as in the cervical vertebrae. So we're going to end up with problems with bulging discs, and then you get maybe that nerve pain all the way down to your hands. A lot of tingling, horrible sensation. So that's why pectoralis is causing a lot of issues within the body. So we're going to move on and stretch pectoralis.